want to bring in Dan Dye, CEO from Ardent Mills. He was already in here once, so I got to say hello to him, but we'll bring him back. There's Dan. What's up, Dan? How are you?
Hey, Kyle, I'm doing great. And thanks for doing this, man. Good to keep people in the know about sports, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, have you been watching?
A little bit. You guys do a great job, and it's, lots of different angles. I'm a big Nuggets fan and sports fan in general. So, yeah, it's fun to see.
Awesome. All right. So here's what I had talked to you about earlier, was just, what Ardent Mills actually does. And you guys are a huge producer of flour and grain products. And in a time like this, and I read something that the number one thing that people are bringing home as we're all cooking, none of us are chefs, but we're certainly learning how to do it, is flour. Is that correct?
It is. It's flying off the shelves, and people are baking at home. It's something you can do with your family. It's something that kind of gives you a little security, a little comfort during this time. And so, yeah, people are going gangbusters baking at home right now, which is great to see.
Dan, I was reading, and there's a great story about one of your mills in Ogden, Utah, that donated flour to a bakery who was giving away loaves of bread to those who needed it. And it ended up being a tearjerker. Can you tell the people why it would make somebody like me cry?
Well, our mills, we got about 35 mills across U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico, and then some other production facilities as well. And in that case, in Ogden, one of our team members at the mill just saw a news story about this local bakery, and they were going to have to shut down, but they thought, hey, we could still bake bread and give it away. And it was a small guy. Our folks said, hey, let's go help them out. Let's go donate the flour to them. We brought the flour over. We unloaded it for him. We got it there. And he thought we were their regular flour supplier through a distributor or whatever. He found out we're not even their regular supplier. We just wanted to help them out. And when he saw that effort of our people, it literally brought him to tears, and it brought me to tears when I first heard it. It's a great story of how people are helping each other out, and they're just giving bread away in the community there to help people out.
It's awesome. You guys have obviously a good working relationship with KSE and the Team Fit program, which I know that we wanted to talk about, just because right now it's all about two things: eating healthy and staying fit, as we're all cooped up in our own homes. Talk about the program and your relationship with KSE.
Yeah, we set up Ardent Mills, our corporate headquarters here in Denver, about 6 years ago. We brought together a couple businesses, and one of the first things we did in getting involved in the community was start working with the Rapids and doing some different things with them, and then other stuff with Kroenke Sports. And one of the best outcomes of that has been our Team Fit program. And so what we do is bring together kids they're kind of grades 3rd through 8. We do it actually with the Nuggets, the Avs, the Rapids, and the Mammoth. And you bring in one or two of the athletes. And so those kids get to have a real life experience with a trainer and with one of the players. And they go through a bunch of drills on, hey, how to get in shape, how to be active, how to have physical, activity on a regular basis. And then also we talk about diet. We talk about how important it is to eat a balanced diet, and how, grain-based foods can give you energy and help you out. They're just really fun events. And we've been doing that for about 4 or 5 years now. We're just proud to sponsor it. Actually, the last one we were able to do before the pandemic was March 2nd. I just happened to be there, and Noah Vonleh was there, and we did a really fun event with those kids. And literally that day was the day the NBA announced that players shouldn't shake hands with each other. They were starting to really put limits, and sure enough, it was the next week that, March 11th, the night of March 11th, when the NBA suspended the season. So that was our last one scheduled for the Nuggets. So we got all the Nuggets and all the Avs ones done for this season, and we'll pick it up again. But again, it's important messaging for kids. Even when they're home now, stay healthy, stay active, eat good, and exercise.
Dan, you mentioned you're a Nuggets guy, basketball guy. There is a picture on the wall behind you to your left. It looks like of a dunk. What is that picture of?
That is, I grew up in Chicago, so you see you see the wings, Michael Jordan. So I've enjoyed The Last Dance. The picture there is Michael Jordan as well, going in for a dunk in the very first game in the Metrodome in Minneapolis. I was living in Minneapolis at the time, and that was the inaugural season of the Timberwolves, and that's Michael Jordan dunking on Pooh Richardson back however many years ago that was. So you asked for it. That's what it is.
Okay, so let me follow up. Is there an argument? Because in my opinion, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. But I'll ask you, because clearly you're not gonna disagree with me.
There's no argument, Connor. I mean, it's just black and white. I mean, the guy has done it all. The consummate champion, an incredible athlete, and an incredible leader. That, you know, again, I think we saw it in the Last Dance. There's, of course, a little controversy swirling around some of it, but I think it showed he's the greatest basketball player of all time.
And that's not just because you're from Chicago, right?
No, of course not. No. But I grew up as a Bulls fan way before Michael Jordan.
Before. Well, we just lost Jerry Sloan, didn't we?
Exactly. I got a little picture of me when I was like 12 years old with Jerry Sloan that I tweeted around to my brother and my son and stuff this weekend because I was sad to see that.
I looked at some of his numbers. I couldn't believe. I mean, he was like a 14-10 guy, Jerry Sloan. I mean, it was pretty impressive. Yeah. Back to Ardent Mills real quick. You guys do golf tournaments to raise money. Obviously, food banks, you guys are huge with that. There was no golf tournament. So you guys made a massive donation. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, every year since we've been here in Colorado, we've done a big golf fundraiser in June for the Food Bank of the Rockies. And, we send groups up there that volunteer. We have a great relationship with them. And this fundraiser that we do every year is one of their largest fundraisers of the year. So it's so important. So as the pandemic started to take shape and we realized we weren't going to be able to actually do the golf event, we felt terrible, because we knew at the same time, the Food Bank of the Rockies' demand for their services and for their product was skyrocketing with unemployment and the needs were going up. And we said, man, we can't miss out on them having the opportunity. So we actually donated $250,000 to them, 1 million meals. We also, and normally in one of these events, the last few years, we've raised about 200. So we went even above and beyond what we normally do. Another fun story that, again, kind of like Connor said earlier, almost brings you to tears. At the very beginning of the pandemic, we have a mill in Commerce City here. And the food bank got wiped out almost immediately when the pandemic hit and people were starting to have to stay home and lose their jobs and stuff. And our team in Commerce City loaded up an entire truckload of flour and brought it right over to the food bank and donated it to them so that they could replenish their supplies at the beginning of this. So they're a great partner. I think it's a great, important for us. We understand we have a responsibility to help feed people in this time, and stability in food is especially important when there's a pandemic going on and there's all these other factors happening.
And people forget, Dan, that it just doesn't show up at the grocery store. I mean, there is a massive network of farmers around North America and especially the United States that provide the materials we're talking about to make your food, to make everything else. And how has that relationship with farmers changed? And is there a way to improve that going forward?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It all starts on the farm, right? We don't make flour without the wheat, and our whole business relies on our farm customers that do a terrific job. And I think, they've had a lot of different challenges, and certainly they face things like weather and other stuff all the time. But now with impact on trade and prices and so forth, so we work really closely with farmers. We have some products where the farmers grow contract for us on organic or other things that add value to them. That's one thing that's changed recently in the recent years. We also just bought a quinoa business. In fact, the picture earlier on that said Andean Naturals is a quinoa business. Part of that ties into a program we've got with Colorado farmers that are growing quinoa, which is a great sustainability story, and also a good way for farmers to diversify a little bit. But, our main thing is wheat, and we work with wheat farmers across North America, and we do everything we can to support them, get them good markets for their wheat and great quality, because that's what turns into the products that we all love, the breads, the pastas, the pizza, all the different things that are really an important part of people's diet and that people are really turning to right now.
Yeah. Dan Dye, we appreciate it. Ardent Mills, we appreciate the relationship you guys have with KSD, the Team Fit program, how you've donated time, money, plenty of food to communities around Colorado and outside of it. We appreciate everything you do, and thanks for stopping by, bud.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate Kroenke Sports, and all the best to you guys. Be safe, and thanks for what you're doing.